Trump administration is causing a certain kind of havoc on the news about visa freeze, if you have heard, and is having a disproportionate effect in the Indian economy and on Indians as such, majorly. So, if you want to know how exactly is everything going on, let's see. Welcome back. US will now not issue new employment-based visas for the categories like H1B, H2B, J and ये H1B, 2B ये सब क्या है? Well, not to worry. Let's see what these terms actually mean. So basically, H1B is a visa which is there in the United States, which is under the Immigration National Act. It's basically for the foreign workers, etc., who get temporarily employment in the US. Now, it's one of the most important visa bases for Indian immigrants because this is one of the most frequently used visa in order for them to go to US and work. Right, and it is extendable till 6 years, and it's usually till 3 years. So once you apply for the visa, it's for 3 years, but then it can obviously extend till 6 years. And it's given by the company in which the people work in. I emphasized on H1B more than other visa types, which I will be telling you about, is because this is one of the most used visas. And let's go and see about the other visa types. So H2B, JL visas are basically for, H2B is basically for agricultural seasonal workers which depend upon, which go from season to season. It's not permanent as H1B. And J visas are basically for educational visit. It's kind of like visit visa types. And it's mainly for the exchange programs, etc., to happen and take place. Whereas L visa is for the company transfers, as you can see on your screen. It's for the intra-company transfers, people who go go abroad in order for their work purposes. So basically, till now we know that these types of visas are banned by the US government. Now let's see when this actually had taken place and why did the US government do this. So first we'll look at the date when this was taking place, and it was done on the 24th of June, which was about 4 days back, and it expires on the 31st of December 2020. It's still the year end of this 2020, so it's still the end of the calendar year. And now we'll just look at some of the statistics. So basically around 280 Indians actually are granted H1B visas by the companies in the US in order to go for their work purposes. Now just imagine the effect of this ban on visas have on the on Indians, on the companies and US as such. So basically people depend on the US visa for their income purposes. And about 85,000 are kept annually, that is people apply for the US visa and go to US in order for their work. And now all of that is banned. So what effect will it be having? Let's see ahead. Now before I move forward, I want to really get this question into you, that why exactly did the US government do so? Now it was really expected answer, and I'm pretty sure you guys also know it by now. It's because of the unemployment issues which are hovering in United States. So basically the purpose of the executive order is to protect about 125,000 jobs which according to the Trump administration is occupied by other nationalities. And so that the Americans itself get the jobs, this ban was introduced. And now, in addition to that, the coronavirus pandemic has increased the unemployment rates and the issues. So it was really expected that such kind of decision, etc., would be taken by the government, and so it seems logical on the US government. Now we have seen an analysis of what, where, when, and why. Now, as I've been telling from the beginning, more important than knowing these statistics is to assume and understand its consequences, right? So that exactly is what we are going to come right now. What is the impact of this news on the Indian sectors, especially the IT industry? And it has both negative and positive. So let's start with the negative. And so about 2/3 of the Indian IT industry is actually dependent on the US MNCs, etc., for its revenue. So you can imagine that due to this decision, what effect it could be having, right? And because everyone's so dependent over there that any decisions like this can directly impact the people in India who are in the IT sector, right? Let's see. And one of the other important thing is about the high-tech workers, technology-based workers, and seasonal workers who go to the US in order for their income sources, etc. Even they are affected by some of the other means, etc. Now we have talked all of this, but one of the most interesting news I would like to bring across to you guys is about this. Well, you got a crux of the different IT sector mostly, how it's getting affected. But one of the most interesting news I would like to bring across to you guys is this, right? And Tim Cook did tweet actually about this decision taken by Trump, and he actually mentioned that he was pretty disappointed by this news, and because Sundar Pichai, who is the head of the Alphabet, the parent company of Google and YouTube, even he had mentioned that getting visa is primarily for in order to obviously to go to US and also to work. So this has deeply affected both the companies. I mean, it could affect, it hasn't really affected till now, but it could affect, and let's see what they have to say ahead. Well, one of the interesting facts is that it's not only affecting India, or it could affect India, but it is going to also affect the US based companies, because the US based companies are pretty much dependent on the Indian companies as such. And as you can see, the impact of US is also going to be kind of negative, because the companies employ the Asian skilled and semi-skilled workers, especially from India, and they rely on them. And having said that, this visa is banned, it can definitely impact those companies who depend on such workers, right? The other important fact is about the mostly the technology-based companies. I did mention earlier about the companies of US MNCs getting affected, but most primarily is the tech companies which are affected, because they hire about tens of thousands of employees from countries like India and China, and this visa is banned to get any immigrant from any country. So definitely, when there's a lot of once, when like the workforce which these companies had, they at once disappear, it will definitely affect the company in some or the other way, and it is a matter of great thing which they need to take a notice upon. And let's see what these companies are going to do ahead. Obviously, they are the US based employees, but in order to hire them, recruit them will take time, and it might have consequences. So let's hope for the best. Well, I kept the positive impact towards the end, because I wanted to end my video with a positive note. And yes, the positive factors are even great, because even though I did mention that they will affect the workers, etc., but to your surprise, the Nifty index, that is of the NSE, rose about 1.5% after getting this news in the markets, and this restriction was kind of expected. So it seemed like the people had already prepared themselves, and it was not really entirely unexpected. And people now working from home, so it makes even more sense to just stay in India and do their course and jobs, etc., from the place they live, instead of going to travel and going to US, etc., in order to do their job and fulfilling certain demands of the companies. So people can work from remote locations, and this has become more of an blessing in disguise. What I would rather say is this could actually lead to that, and it could eventually be converted into a very positive note which people will take with them. So yes, this is one of the impacts I would like to say it could have. Well, that was most of what I really wanted to say, and I hope you enjoyed, because of the research, etc., I put in. I hope that you really gain from it, and I hope to learn from you guys as well. And let's see you in the next video. Till then, bye for now.